Tough night all around. Hard to find a bright spot from a Devils standpoint as they are shut out. But shut out big. 9-0 the final score. Fifth time the Devils have been shut out this season, but by far, the largest margin. And you were talking just a moment ago, Chico, about the teams with victories tonight that have climbed over the Devils. And yes, things are so tight. 10, 11 points separating last from first in the Eastern Conference entering play tonight. But now it's the amount of teams you have to climb over. And it's always darkest before the dawn. I'm not saying the Devils can't beat Pittsburgh on Thursday and beat Winnipeg on Sunday. It's just that you're looking for some signs, and right now they're a little hard to find. Oh, yeah. If you find them, could you let me know? And it is a tough stretch, as Maddie says. The 9-0 score is not who the Devils are. But who are they? They can't lose to a team. Like the Islanders were missing Bo Horvat. That's a pretty big miss. That's a pretty big hole. But I think I don't know, Maddie. I think what might have happened, if there's one thing I would say, that first goal that the Islanders got, it was kind of like, oh, what? Already? Oh, no. It brought that kind of panic or disbelief to the Devils that they didn't need going into this game. And, no. And it started early, and the onslaught was there. All right, let's check the highlights. Well, speaking of that, it did start early. The Devils and Islanders meeting for the third time this season. There is one more meeting. That's early in February, the last game before the All-Star break. It'll take place at Prudential Center. We talked about it. The Islanders seem to have the Devils' number, at least over the last handful of games. They won both of the earlier matchups, but only by one goal, a 3-2 overtime win at Prudential Center, and then just before the Christmas break, a 2-1 victory here at UBS. So would we at least see a tight game? Well, it turned out that was not the case, and it turned out that early on, the Islanders began the onslaught. Chipped out toward Barzal, slides it to the blue line. Schaefer for Pulock. Cross ice, they score! It's Matthew Barzal giving the Islanders an early 1-0 lead.
There's that one-timer, Matty.
And the one-timer, his first goal in 7 games. It came a minute 8 in, 11th goal of the season for Barzal. Ryan Pulock, Matthew Schaefer with the assists. And there it was at 1:08, a 1-0 deficit.
A nice play. There were some nice passes, but the Devils were not into doing the tighten-up tonight. Now let's do the tighten-up because it just didn't stop. That's what got me. That was a nice passing play, but I'm not sure the next 2 goals you're going to describe were exceptional plays. It was some breakdowns.
But before that, the Devils had a power play just 17 seconds after Barzal scored. Pulock's called for a slash. Devils had 4 shots on the power play, but not able to score. And so we returned to 5-on-5 skating, and that 1-0 deficit became 2-0. Matt Barzal from Ryan Pulock and Matthew Schaefer. A minute 8 in. And the Islanders have the 1-0 lead. Here comes Anthony Duclair. Has some room right wing side. In with a shot. He scores. He had way too much room down that far side. It's 2-0. He had watched in street clothes the last 2. Healthy scratch, benching, call it what you will. He wasn't. Somebody told me, well, it's not anything that he did. That just, they had some other forwards they had to get in. Yeah. I said, okay, so they get the guy who hasn't scored in a long time, and he just happens to be the guy that gets benched. Well, now, scoring was not a problem tonight for Anthony Duclair.
No, he was good, and the accuracy of his shots were terrific. 3 goals, he got 2 assists. I mean, you could just tell, that guy had everything going for him tonight, and he made the most of it.
And so it was 2-0 at 4:01. Barzal and Duclair, 2 goals on 3 shots for the New York Islanders. They were on their way. Before the period was over, Anthony Duclair was on his way to a hat trick. Here's Duclair with a step, moves in, wrist shot, scores.
No!
Second of the night for Anthony Duclair. It's 3-0.
So Duclair with his sixth. Casey Cizikas, Cole McWard with the assists. It's 3-0 at 13:31, and that's the way it stood. Devils outshot the Islanders 15-7 in that first period.
Yeah, shots are up on the board, but they're not the big numbers. It's the goals that are the big ones.
And those are the ones you always talk about. So early on in the second period, Duclair took care of the question as to whether or not he'd be able to score his fourth career hat trick. We will call this the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. Now D'Angelo has a chance, skating to the far circle. Backhands now to Duclair, cross ice to Barzell. Has some room, gives it back to Duclair, he scores!
No!
The hat trick for Anthony Duclair, and it's 4-0. And that was the play of the game, presented by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner.
Can't describe it any better than you did, Matty. That was it.
His fourth career hat trick, his first since December 14th of 2019 while he was playing for Ottawa. He scored against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And we could keep playing goals or near misses. It doesn't really matter. When it was 4-0, it became 5-0 on Holmstrom's goal. The Devils had some chances. Brown had a backhand wide open net that he fanned on in front. Nico Hischier, a little tuck try, and Sorokin said no. And anyway, it was 5-0 after 2, 9-0 after 3, and that's all she wrote, my friend.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I say, Matty. We'll hear some of the people who actually played the game talk, but I don't have any more insight.
Well, let's see if the goalie tonight was a rough one for Jacob Markstrom, that's for sure. Let's see what he had to say.
Wondering what you're feeling about the game, how things are going right now collectively as a group, and just sort of coming up with this performance as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, that's embarrassing. Yeah, that's all I can say from my part. 9 goals. That's a joke. That's a tough one.
Were you shocked that you were left in the game, or do you have conversations about that? I'm goalie. I love being out there. I got not a good game. That's a question for someone else.
What do you sort of need to see collectively as a group here? Because this feels like a big shock here to this group.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's embarrassing, and we want to apologize to the Devils fans, and I got to be better and stop more pucks. We put up 40+ shots, and they put up 20, scored 9. And that, yeah, that's I'm embarrassed on myself and towards my teammates and the team and the fans. So it's not good enough. I got to be better.
Do you feel like something's wrong in the room, or is there something that's just not connecting, like you guys as a team as a whole here?
No, like I said, we put 40+ and let in 20, and then I feel like they scored on every shot, and it's my job to keep the puck out of the net. And sometimes you just got to make some stops, and you just got to believe in the the system and start doubting, especially in a game like this. And early you're hoping to get a few saves, so when we're still in the game, and then after that you have to settle in and just don't let it run away like it did today.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Jacob Markstrom facing the music, and used the word embarrassed a few times, and I get it. You give up 9 goals.
He's not going to hide from the truth. But once he says, I gave up 9 goals, don't keep asking him. There is nothing else. 2 things. He wishes he would have stopped pucks earlier to give his team a chance to get in the rhythm, which he said, 9 goals, embarrassing. Nothing else. Don't ask him anything else, because as a goalie, Matty, you're just crushed. You're crushed.
As the entire team, I'm sure, is feeling the same thing, but it is on the goalie. That's the big 9 on his ledger, that's for sure. The 9 goals scored by the Islanders, the first time they've done that since February 11th of 2011. They beat Pittsburgh 9-3. The 9 goals allowed by the Devils, the most they have allowed, or the first time they've allowed 9 since the 12th of March, 2019. and they lost 9-4 to Calgary in Calgary that night. We have some choices as to who we'd like to hear from. Yeah, the captain for sure, but a man who definitely gives us some insights and veteran of the war, so to speak, not that Nico's not, is Brendan Dillon. Let's check in with the Devils defenseman.
Conversations, and it almost feels like you're asking the same questions and having the same answers. So I just wanted to sort of open it up to you, your thoughts on today and what needs to happen for this team right now and how you address it as a group.
I mean, just like even after the game, like trying to think. I don't know if I've ever been through, 9-0 game like that. The emotions you can imagine, frustration, pissed off. The first shift of the game, we give them, we're chasing 10-minute mark, it's already, 3-0. Like we just, we're not doing ourselves any favors. We talked about it before the game that, they're a good defensive team that takes away the middle of the ice. And, I don't know if it's just us being stubborn or just not, it's obviously not the right way to play when you're giving up those chances. And, it's just 9 goals, like it's crazy. Yeah, just honestly, I don't even really know what to say. Yeah.
Brendan, when results like this happen and when you guys have been playing the way that you have, like I feel like a lot of attention goes to the coach or the GM. Is the message still resonating in this room?
Yeah. We literally talked about them. They take away the middle of the ice. Their blue line, they take a lot of pride in defending and taking away, the dangerous ice. And I don't know if we're just stubborn, just not wanting to, put the puck in and, forecheck, play hard. I mean, that's what they did. They put the puck in, hit us as defensemen going back for it. Have their D-men shoot the puck, create some chaos. And, of course, they got, they had a couple pretty ones, too, where they're making plays off the rush or finding scenes. But, I think for us, it's we just got to realize these guys, we talked about that. These guys took 2 points from us in here. Last time, the importance of an interdivision game, it's just, just frustrating. Yeah.
We ask these same questions, but it seems like things just are getting worse, maybe spiraling a little bit. Does it feel like there's something wrong in the room?
No, it's a tight, like the guys enjoy each other. It's not like there's certain guys, you don't want to talk to or don't want to go for dinner with, or the guys that don't hang out. Like I've had a couple of teammates along the years where, you can tell there's an outcast or something, and not here. I think, in stretches like we've had, you win a couple, you lose a couple. The Carolina game, we should come out of that, first shift of the game, we should be excited for another opportunity to win, against, again, another divisional opponent that, or you can't use, we had tough travel or something like that, or use an excuse. They've got guys out too. They're, arguably one center was out, and you talk about even Carolina, they have top guys out too. Like it's just winning hockey. You can't just try and play the same. You've got to find what the other team's weaknesses are, and we talk about those. We have a game plan for it, and we just absolutely did not execute it and paid the price for it. When you turn pucks over, it doesn't matter what team in this league. We've seen the parity all year that whether it's the 32nd team in the league or the first team, teams can score when you make mistakes or when you leave guys wide open or you give up odd man rushes, and there was just unfortunately a lot of that tonight.
I guess it kind of leads me to the other end of it, where do you think maybe some are too comfortable?
Again, some of these questions are above my pay grade for things, and I think we've just got to. It should show, our care level when you're going out, whether it's your finishing checks or you're not turning pucks over, when you're trying to do the right things. Scoring's been tough for us this year. That's the reality. Like scoring goals for us has been tough. So with that being said, you can't give up free ones. You can't. Again, how you start the game is so important to set the tone. We talk about on face-offs, that's a big one. Who's going to win that competitive battle? Net front box. So it's all these little things that, I don't think it's a comfortability thing. I think it's, guys needing to decide to do that, to want to do that, to take pride in being competitive and winning that one-on-one battle. They've got 5 guys out there. We've got 5 guys out there. Beat that guy, whether that's on the offensive side or defensive side. And clearly we didn't win a lot of those tonight.
Thank you, Dillon.
Brendan Dillon sharing his thoughts, and you could just feel the hurt in his voice.
Oh, because he's got no answer. He doesn't, Matty. Like, you think about it. You don't. I don't. Giving up 9 goals, I just said to Matty, what I am more concerned about, the 9 goals, fine, I get that. But we didn't score 1 goal. We only scored 1 goal last night. That's what I want to ask. What are we doing not to score goals? And I saw it. There were some bad breaks on rebounds and some shots that weren't as accurate as they would have liked. And even that's what it is. So we could go on and on about it, but you see it with your own eyeballs, and then you know what the problem is.
Yeah, and it is puzzling. We're waiting to hear from Sheldon Keefe, but in the last 7 games, including tonight, they had 44 shots on goal.
Yeah.
46 shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
29 against Carolina, 30 against Utah, 33 against Columbus, 33 against the Maple Leafs, 38 against Washington,
wow,
and 32 against the Islanders 2 weeks ago. But 1-3-0-3-4-1-0. So are the shot selections not good? Is this team just absolutely stone cold? They've not been a good 5-on-5 team really since the start of calendar year 2025. I don't know what it is. Part of it is there's just 4 guys you can kind of reliably call on to score. Dawson Mercer just ended a long drought. Maybe he's in that. Maybe. But there are a lot of guys that you shouldn't expect them to score 25. Because that's not what they do.
Exactly.
But a couple here and there, and there are chances. There are chances. But, they've made some goalies look pretty darn good, too.
Well, they did. You got Hischier, Bratt, and Hughes on the top line. Okay, that's a good line. You got Timo Meier, who I think could be a 30-goal scorer. I don't know if he'll get that this year. So that's it. I mean, the rest of the guys are hard workers. Are going to do a lot of what Brendan Dillon said he hoped that they would do to get out of this. But 4 guys, we need more guys putting pucks in the net. And as we mentioned, and I'll be the first to admit it, I would like to see a little more oomph and a little more push by the defense to help those forwards. And, I think that's the mystery to me. I mean, we've got a pretty good defense on paper, but in terms of scoring, no, it's not coming through.
No, it's not from any source. And so as we look ahead, and we'll only hang here for a little bit longer, when Sheldon Keefe does come out, hopefully we'll have it. If not, you'll be able to hear his comments by going to NewJerseyDevils.com or following our social media channel. So one day tomorrow, practice. Won't be a vigorous one. You can't bag guys anymore. That doesn't happen. It's counterproductive anyway as they get ready for a Pittsburgh team that, by the way, has won 5 straight.
Wow.
And Sidney Crosby has found the fountain of youth. So what do you think? Do you have any idea? Does anybody have any idea what Thursday holds?
Yeah, the only thing that can happen, and we don't know how, something has, ignite the Devils. And you know what it is? It's goals. Yeah, they could go in there and maybe win 1-0, score a goal in the third period. No, they got to hopefully can find a break or something to get one early, get the lead so they're not chasing, and then maybe get a couple other breaks. I mean, I think against Utah, Matty, they got one that was thrown into the crease, hit the Utah player's toe and went in. Another one was shot about 1.5 feet off the ice, hit Nico Hischier in front of the net, went ricocheted in. and Dougie Hamilton got a bad angle goal, which you're not going to always get. But that's what has to happen, because I don't care. Confidence. The players know confidence. They know breaks. They know when, hey, it's starting to come our way. And unfortunately for the Devils, it hasn't started to come their way yet with any consistency. So let's move on to Pittsburgh. And, okay, then tonight's the night in Pittsburgh is when it's going to turn around.
And we will be there. Hopefully you'll join us as the Devils skate against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Devils trying to put the bad taste of this one out of their mouths, and they get ready for their longtime rival in Game 2 of a 4-game road trip. We will invite you to go to NewJerseyDevils.com, follow our social media channels. You'll hear what Sheldon Keefe had to say after tonight's game, because it hasn't quite taken place as of this moment, and so we will wrap things up. But again, Thursday's game against Pittsburgh will be heard right here on the Devils Hockey Network.